Hey everyone, my name is Cassandra McCoy. I am an athletic trainer here in Oklahoma, and I own my own private practice. Um, Emily asked me to kind of give you guys a little bit of background about what I do, how I do it as a private practice athletic trainer. We're kind of rare, but we're getting stronger in numbers. And it's really encouraging to see that she's wanting to bring this information to you guys because it is well needed. And I hope that this is helpful for you guys. So a little bit of background about me. Actually, Emily was one of my professors at OSU. I graduated with my graduate degree a few years ago, and I went straight into an orthopedic setting. I was in one of the major sports medicine physical therapy departments in Tulsa, and I was there whenever COVID hit, and COVID hit us pretty hard. I got it right off the bat, and I know that several of my coworkers did too. And we were furloughed. It was a whole process, and then ultimately I was let go. But behind the scenes, I'd actually been working to grow my own thing, and I had been diving into women's health, and I had been actually setting up the skeleton for a potential private practice. And COVID kind of threw me into it, and so it was perfect. I have two kids, I'm married, and it just ended up fitting well. Like it worked out really, really well. And so right now I practice here in Skiatook. I've had multiple locations. I've also done some private consulting in Tulsa, which is the bigger town, just about 30 minutes down the road. But ultimately coming back to this area has been my biggest success. And I stay very busy. I don't have that problem right now. It's been very, very rewarding, and I haven't had any issues with that. But she wanted me to come on here to talk about my entrepreneurial journey, but then also like the nuts and bolts of staying legal in my state, of just the journey in general. And I have her notes right in front of me, so if I look down, promise you I'm not like texting some random person. I'm just looking at my notes. Okay. And I wish that I could do question and answer with you guys because I like to be a little bit informal, but hopefully this will suffice. So being an entrepreneur as an AT has been very challenging, but very rewarding. I also teach at a local community college, so I get a little bit of added income from that. But everything else for me comes from anywhere from teaching movement classes to seeing patients. I have different therapies that are unique around here, and I just kind of approach things a little bit differently as an athletic trainer. So it's been very interesting to see how that's grown. For me, word of mouth is queen, and that's how I've been able to grow my business. And so really, to remain legal in Oklahoma, you have to have a supervising physician, and you have to be licensed by the medical board, obviously maintaining your VOC cert. And so for me, that process just looks like paying my dues, making sure that I have a supervising physician, which, side note, it was interesting this year whenever I went to renew my state licensure, I noticed on there that there was no supervising doc. And lo and behold, it was a glitch in the system. And so for a little bit, I didn't have a supervising doc on there, which gave me some heart palpitations, I'm not gonna lie. But now I have two doctors just as a backup, just to give me that added security and then also that backing. Now, just to explain that process, I was at that prominent Tulsa orthopedic location. And so actually one of their doctors is still my signing physician. And he's one that's local here. He's actually from this town. So it's a really nice fit. And I feel like I can go to him with questions. I can refer clients to him. I can go see him at our local football games and just touch base with him. So it's been really, really good. And it was funny because whenever I had that glitch happen, I automatically said, no, I want him as my supervising doc. If he'll, let me, I just want him on there. And he was super okay with it. He had remembered me from our interactions and from whenever I helped rehab his wife's ACL. So it was good that I had that prior relationship to draw on whenever I really needed it and whenever that little surprise happened. So that's that one. But then since I specialize in women's health, I wanted to have an OB on my practice act, or on my licensure, just because I refer to him and I call him with questions, and he's somebody that I'm able to really converse and have a good relationship with. But I also had a prior personal and a professional relationship with him. I gone to him for advice after one of my children. I had referred clients to him, and he had referred clients to me even before we had gone into this private practice. And so really, if anybody is thinking about this, it's just about being a good human, being kind, having conversations, even if you're not thinking about a private practice. Just, hi, how's it going? Because one thing that I've noticed, at least with me, is if it's a physician that I want to have a good relationship with and potentially have as my supervising doc in a private practice, I want them to be a good human. I want them to, I want to be able to have a conversation with them. And so just because we're hoping to get somebody sign our practice and whatever you want to call it, be our licensing doc, it's always important that we're comfortable with them as our professional doctor that we refer to or we consult with, because it's ultimately a two-way street relationship, even though obviously they're supervising doctor and we're the AT. But I think that that's very important to note, because it has to be professional in a two-way relationship, not just your traditional where you're in a physical therapy department and the doctors just are feeding you patients because they've done surgery. Okay, it's going to feel different because you're in a private practice. You're not just one of the PTs or ATs on staff. Okay, so making sure that that's a good, solid mutual relationship is key. All right, let me check my notes. I know that was one of the main things that I wanted to put in there. Searching for a physician, like I say, for me, it was just cultivating those relationships, asking questions, visiting, or if there was any way that I could kind of just get my foot in the door. I was very fortunate that this location was where I had done prior clinical rotation at. And so my circumstances lined up perfectly. And the women's health consult with the OB was just, he had already heard about me. I had already known about him, good reputations on both sides. And then just reaching out and not being afraid of, oh, what if, nobody answers, or if it's not a good fit. It was just reaching out. So make sure, even though sometimes, especially as a new AT, I'm technically more fresh than most of your private practice, but I like it. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. So just try to get out there, put yourself out there. You're knowledgeable, do it. Insight on entrepreneurship. Like I say, really, it was, for me, it was finding where I wanted to park my bus. I could have gone, oh, there's a fly, sorry. I could have gone to bigger cities and gotten more right off the bat business and been more prominent and stuff like that. And I tried some of that, I dabbled in it, and really it wasn't just a good fit for me. So again, finding out where you want to park your bus, what you're kind of wanting to do. I've always been passionate about women's health, and I really want to advocate for women's health professionals in the athletic training profession. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, we had our back porch screen door open, and so I'm now trying to expel all the things that came in. And honestly, for me, it was just, I love women's health. I love orthopedic rehab. I love what is more considered the physical therapy aspect of it. I love it. It's not to say that I don't like being on the sidelines. I think that that is a blast in and of itself, but I know my health and wellness. I know my preventative care. I know my orthopedic rehabilitation and assessment. I really know my proactive women's health. I know my pelvic floor therapy and body work. And so that's where I've kind of cultivated my passions. And so really it's about finding your passion and then being able to utilize it in an effective manner. Another thing to note is I don't take insurance. I do FSA, HSA, but I don't want to touch insurance. I really don't. I like not having to play by that set of rules. And so for me, that was one of the things that is both an advantage and a disadvantage. So for you, if you're thinking about entrepreneurial, that'll be a conversation that you need to have with yourself on, okay, do I need to hire someone on automatically so that I can get this insurance game going? Or if I think I'm going to go another direction. So that's something to think about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. I feel like there was, but I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was beneficial and just kind of thinking about ways that we can impact our profession, not the traditional routes, but more thinking outside the box and progressing our profession as a whole. Oh, I remember what it is. As an entrepreneur, you will have bumps. Oh, Malayans, you'll have so many bumps, it's not even funny. So I just wanted to encourage somebody, if they are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or going into private practice, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. You're also going to get a little bit of pushback from physical therapists, from other professions potentially. And you have to navigate that conversation, maybe a difficult conversation, and that's a part of it, and it'll be okay. But just be aware that you're going to be like, oh, well, that was stupid. And then you're going to learn from it and move on. But I'm encouraging you guys, if you are even thinking about starting like a little side hustle, do it. It gives you a lot of experience that you otherwise wouldn't have. And it's not really talked about a lot, at least in my in my grad degree. It really wasn't talked about. I love you, Emily, but it really wasn't talked about. And I thought that I was an odd duck. And whenever I got out from school, I realized, oh, there's a lot more that I need to understand if I want to go this direction. So please feel free to reach out if I can help in any way, or if you have questions, I'm here. But I'm excited for you guys. Thanks, Emily, for letting me chat, and have a wonderful semester.